Look, let's just cut right to it and dive into a pretty terrifying reality. Your brain was absolutely never designed to survive the modern digital world. And you know what? You feel it deep in your bones every single day. You sit down at the end of the day completely depleted. Why? Because the hardware inside your skull is fighting a brutal war it was literally never equipped to win. Every single second of your day, an entire digital ecosystem is violently demanding your attention. It is completely relentless. It doesn't sleep, it doesn't take breaks, and it has one singular obsessive goal: to pull your focus away from whatever is right in front of you. We're talking about a highly engineered landscape of pings, haptics, and digital nudges that hijack your cognitive processes. We are constantly bombarded. You've got an endless scrolling feed, dopamine-driven short videos, chaotic news headlines, and vibrating notifications that absolutely never stop. You are processing more data before your morning coffee than a human 200 years ago processed in an entire month. You're flicking through 100 different lives on social media, absorbing catastrophic global news, watching 15-second videos meticulously crafted to spike your dopamine, and your pocket is buzzing the entire time. It is a constant, suffocating barrage of information overload. So underneath all of this constant stimulation, your overloaded brain is practically glowing hot because it never truly rests anymore. Even when you think you're relaxing, right? Like when you're unwinding on the couch by scrolling through your phone, your brain is actually sprinting on a psychological treadmill. It's processing colors, texts, sounds, and emotional triggers at 1,000 miles an hour. You aren't resting. You are just changing the flavor of the stimulation. Humans evolved for calm, slower environments. We were absolutely not built for the aggressive, constant stimulation of modern screens. For hundreds of thousands of years, our brains adapted to track the slow movement of weather, the rustling of leaves, the quiet rhythms of daylight and darkness. We are biologically wired for a slow, analog reality. So throwing that ancient biological machinery into a hyper-connected, neon-lit digital hurricane, it's exactly like trying to run modern software on a computer built in the 1990s. It completely crashes. But there is a hidden, underlying architecture behind all of this. Giant corporate systems are actively harvesting and profiting off your attention. The exhaustion you feel right now, it isn't an accident. It isn't just some unfortunate byproduct of modern life. It is the core business model. Your attention is the single most valuable commodity on Earth right now, worth billions of dollars to platforms that desperately need your eyes glued to their screens so they can serve you ads. And to get that money, every single app competes in a vicious war to trap your focus. They use flashing dopamine visuals, infinite scrolling tunnels, and endless stimulation. They use the exact same variable reward mechanics as slot machines in Las Vegas. The bright red notification badges, the pull to refresh mechanic that perfectly mimics pulling a casino lever, the frictionless infinite scroll that completely removes any natural stopping point. This is weapons-grade behavioral psychology deployed directly against your focus. The logic here is incredibly dark, but it's simple. Distracted people stay online longer, controlled almost like puppets on strings. Think about it. If you are focused, if you are intentional, you log on, get what you need, and log off. These platforms absolutely cannot afford for you to do that. They need you distracted, jumping from one shiny object to the exact next one, entirely losing track of time as the hours just slip away. But here is where it gets genuinely terrifying. Because the scary part isn't just the malicious design of the apps themselves. It's not just what is happening on the screen. It is what is happening inside of you as a result. Your brain is actively rewiring its own hardware. Thanks to neuroplasticity, your prefrontal cortex, which is the part of your brain responsible for deep focus, is structurally altering itself to expect chaos. When you expose it to high-speed, high dopamine, fragmented information for hours a day, it optimizes for exactly that. It slowly, silently adapts to survive this absolute psychological chaos. And this builds a terrifying downward spiral. Sitting in silence suddenly becomes uncomfortable. Trying to focus feels physically painful. And a single moment of boredom triggers an instant knee-jerk reaction to grab your phone. Think about the last time you stood in an elevator or waited in a line for more than 10 seconds. Did your hand instinctively reach for your pocket? We have completely lost the ability to simply exist in a quiet moment because our rewired brains are screaming for their next hit of digital stimulation. This rewiring is the exact reason for your permanent mental exhaustion. You are walking around completely drained. Your cognitive stamina is entirely depleted by lunch. You find yourself staring blankly at a screen or snapping at the people you genuinely care about, all because your mental reserves are sitting at absolute 0%. You could sit in an ergonomic chair in a climate-controlled room for 8 hours, doing absolutely nothing physically difficult, and return home feeling like you just survived a marathon. Your body is perfectly well rested, but your mind is completely battered. That is because mental overload drains your energy silently. It pulls your internal battery percentage down without you even noticing. Every single notification you swipe away, every headline you quickly parse, every email you flag, it all takes a tiny microtax on your cognitive energy. And when you're processing thousands of these a day, that silent drain empties your tank incredibly fast. And eventually, under the crushing weight of endless dopamine and constant stimulation, your overloaded brain just stops functioning normally. The baseline operations of your mind, like your ability to plan, your ability to regulate your emotions, your ability to think deeply and creatively, they all start to break down. You enter a permanent state of cognitive survival mode. The breakdown is completely devastating. Your attention span shrinks to literal seconds. Your patience disappears into impulsive frustration, and real life starts to feel tragically slower than the internet. You sit down to watch a movie, and you can't get through it without checking your phone. You try to read a book, and your eyes just slide right off the page. The analog, physical reality around you, relationships, nature, deep work, it all feels understimulating and gray compared to the hyper-vibrant, lightning-fast digital world. For the longest time, you probably thought you were simply tired, right? Maybe lacking sleep or just lacking motivation. You drank more caffeine, you tried to get an extra hour of rest, you told yourself you were just going through a lazy phase or a depressive rut. You blamed yourself for this massive drop in productivity and joy. But slowly you realize that modern digital life is overwhelming your brain every single day. It's pushing your cognitive battery far past its breaking point. This is not a failing of your willpower. Let me repeat that. It is a systematic, engineered assault on your attention by platforms strictly designed to overwhelm your natural biological limits. Until eventually, your mind could no longer keep up with the intense, flashing speed of the digital world. We are living in a pivotal moment where our technology has completely outpaced our biology, and the intense friction between those two realities is generating all of this modern anxiety, stress, and burnout. The modern world doesn't just consume your time. It is not just about the hours lost to the infinite scroll. Time is just the surface-level metric. It consumes your mind. It takes your focus, your peace, your ability to sit quietly. If these systems are quietly consuming the very way you think and feel, what are you going to do today to take your mind back?